Hello there, interwebs. I hope you're all doing well. And for today's video, I just want to have a quick little discussion about Matt Walsh. And I know, I am tired of talking about this Daily Wire host and right-wing anti-trans grifter and one of the leading voices in the anti-trans movement that's been going on in the United States right now. Like, legitimately, I did like 3 videos on him last year, and I'm just tired of him. But there have been a few things that have recently happened with Matt Walsh that have honestly filled me with a lot of joy, and I just kind of wanted to talk about them. The first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that someone recently hacked into Matt Walsh's accounts, and it was honestly kind of funny. This hacker apparently got into his account and just tweeted out some funny threads and weird stuff. Some that I found like, okay, these jokes are a little bit in bad taste, but overall, I'm like, just glad. Screw Matt Walsh and his Twitter account. And it's even more funny when you learn that the reason that this hacker hacked into Matt Walsh's account was because the hacker was bored. At least that's what they told Wired in the article that Wired did about this. And I love that. I love that someone was just like bored, maybe getting high one night and was like, screw it. I'll fuck with this asshole. And honestly, that's the best way to deal with Matt Walsh, and honestly what he deserves. But was even more sort of interesting to me when it came to this hack, besides just, the schadenfreude of getting to see Matt Walsh get fucked with, is the fact that apparently some of his emails were released, and specifically there was an email thread between Matt Walsh and Steven Crowder, the host of Louder with Crowder, that they had a few years ago. And being frank, the idea of those two men talking makes me have my gag reflex, but there was one specific email that the Wired article pointed out, where Matt Walsh apparently said,
"There's certainly plenty of money to be made when you can get millions of hits online, and I'm a capitalist and I have a family, so I've decided to start getting serious about that."
And this email just showcases kind of what we all already knew, that Matt Walsh was just grifting his audience in order to make money. But honestly, it shocks me really not at all, because that's kind of the whole point when you're doing anti-trans rhetoric, as well as a lot of the things that a lot of the right wing in the United States is often doing. They're trying to stoke their audience with anger and fear-mongering in order to build their audience, build their base, and also fill their pocketbooks. I mean, take a look at the stuff between Fox News and the Dominion in that lawsuit that was recently settled between those two, where a lot of the emails showed that people like Tucker Carlson clearly didn't believe half the bullshit that they put out and actually hated people like Trump. But they say it anyways so they can get attention and money. That's the whole point. Welcome to our capitalist society. It's what leads to the constant decay into fascism, because people just do what they want to get more and more money. And Matt Walsh clearly fits this. He is just stoking anti-trans hate because it makes a lot of money, and clearly it worked, because as I've shown in some of my other videos, his subscriber count increased exponentially when he started doing his anti-trans hate. He just wanted to do it so he could sell his shitty pronoun aprons and sell Daily Wire Plus subscriptions and just make more and more money. And frankly, that makes this next part, because at a speech that he gave at a university, Matt Walsh revealed that YouTube just demonetized his entire channel for his anti-trans rhetoric that he was using towards Dylan Mulvaney, the sort of target of a lot of the right-wing ire right now, because she did a Bud Light advertisement, which that's a whole other discussion. I'll do a video on that at some point later on. But because of the horrible, toxic, disgusting language that he used, YouTube decided to demonetize his entire channel. And Matt Walsh tried to get all butthurt about this, saying at the event,
"Have continued all the way up to this week. So in fact, less than a day before I was hacked, we received word from YouTube that I had committed a series of alleged violations of their terms of service and also of their ad partnership guidelines, which will now lead to my demonetization and potentially being banished forever from the platform." Now, YouTube's ploy, what we have to understand about big tech, their ploy is to be intentionally vague about their guidelines. They won't tell you. They'll tell you you violated something, but they won't tell you exactly what it was or how that thing violates the guideline, because they want to afford themselves the latitude to demonetize and deplatform you whenever they feel like it. And that's really what's going on here. Of course, they just selected me and they said, well, it's your turn, and we're going to look for a reason. In fact, they did tell us, though, they cited 3. There were a number of violations they claimed. They'd only tell us about 3 of them. All 3 of them, coincidentally, had to do with Dylan Mulvaney. Yeah. Now, I don't know, just coincidentally, YouTube decided you're not allowed to say anything about Dylan Mulvaney. YouTube has decided that I'm not allowed to use biologically accurate language when discussing Dylan, or presumably any other trans-identified person. And for what it's worth, it doesn't seem that other channels are being held to this standard right now. So we were told by sources at YouTube that a decision to target our channel had come from the highest levels of the company. And they're looking for something, a reason to take us out. Now, of course, there is a way out of this jam. You know, the big tech, they're very generous, and they'll give you a potential off-ramp. So if I simply respect the preferred pronouns and I stop accurately gendering people, then I can likely continue to do my show on the platform. I can get it remonetized after, a short probationary period. And I can continue making over $100,000 a month on YouTube ads.
And frankly, he can go cope. He's been saying much worse for much longer. And frankly, I'm honestly kind of frustrated and annoyed that it took YouTube this long and for this specific incident for them to demonetize his channel. As I said over 6 months ago in a video, Matt Walsh has been sexualizing transgender people and insulting and dehumanizing transgender people for quite a while now. I mean, he literally describes trans people's bodies as a fetish and calls us gross and mutilated. But that is okay on YouTube, apparently, because to sexualize and dehumanize trans people is expected. But when, someone else, say a person like me, maybe makes a random joke about a cartoon version of Matt Walsh, my video gets hit with a community violation. Anyways, besides the point, he's been doing it for a long time now, so it's honestly kind of embarrassing that it took YouTube this long and for this specific incident, but honestly, I am happy that it has happened at all, and the fact that Matt Walsh has not posted another video to YouTube should tell you everything that you need to know, that he's just being a little baby about it, despite the fact that he's been breaking the terms of service for a long time, and that, again, he only really cares about this movement insofar as he can make money off of it. And so for him to finally get demonetized, again, took way too long, but fills this little trans girl's heart with a bunch of joy. Maybe I will not have to look at his mid-level beard ever again on this channel. Sadly, I doubt that that's actually going to be the case, but one can hope. Give me this brief moment of joy. But this brings me to my final thing that I want to discuss, because all of this shows just how cartoonish and silly Matt Walsh is. Yes, he's dangerous. Yes, he's a little fascist boy who is stoking anti-trans hate against a marginalized group that is currently facing a lot of hate right now, that he has been one of the leading proponents of leading to direct violence against the community that I'm a part of. But he is also just a silly, dumb, just ridiculous little man, and that is highlighted by the fact that at that university speech that I spoke about earlier, protesters apparently went up to his stage and dumped marbles all over him, apparently forcing him and people who were on his side to try to leave the event, but having to walk very, very slowly. And I honestly wish I had video of that so I could add like the Benny Hill like song to it, like because it just that image in my head just showcases to me the truth behind Matt Walsh. That he's just a sad, silly little man who's just trying to make money, but ultimately has nothing to say and just should be laughed at. And in a better society, that's all he would be. He would just be a clown for our amusement. Sadly, that is not the society we live in. We have to deal with the seriousness of the shit that he is stoking, but at the end of the day, he is just a sad, ridiculous little man trying to push a grift so he can make money.